From Seward Stadium on the campus of Hoftra University, Landers Sports Productions, in conjunction with Telecare, presents the high school game of the week. Today is the New York State semifinals. The Huntington Blue Devils, the two-time defending state champions, 20-0, taking on the John Jay Cross River Indians, 20-. We are back at Hofstra University. Barry Landers along with Art Kaminsky, Kerry Gluck, joined by Dave Katowski and Alan Hodish, our regulars in the booth, as we get set for the first face-off. Olson facing off number 12, and we get a procedure call going against Olson, and it will be John Jay ball. Both teams like to run, both teams with tremendous attacks. A lot of high scoring expected here. John Jay averaging about 13 goals a game, giving up under 5. Huntington averaging about 14, giving up about 6.5. We'll set the attack and the midfielders for you. For John Jay, number 2 is Brian Douglas. He's a senior All-American going to Yale. Up top to Kevin Stockel. Stockel is another man on the attack. 47 goals. He's going to Drexel, a senior. 86 points. Douglas with 90. And the guy we highlighted, Chris Bocklett, number 12. He's a big, tough kid. 5'11", 170. Verbally committed to Virginia. 101 points. And we'll set the midfield as we go, too, as they work the ball around. Actually, the attack out top now. And the midfield is down low. Sweeping to his left. And Stockel taking the first shot. And Brady had a little bit of trouble as it bounced high, and then Sean came up with it, and the outlet now to Brett Olson.
That was a nice lefty shot taken by Kevin Stockel, the All-American. He is a lefty playing up top to start the game, and the shot was right on the stick high to Sean Brady, who makes the save. The rebound almost took a bad bounce for Huntington in, but alertly Brady was able to keep it out.
Here, Coach Nick Savastano making a change. Stockel usually playing down low on the attack, but number 18, Jake DeCandia, has been switching places with him. And now that shot's right on, and the save made by Chris Latino. What can you tell us about Chris Latino, the John Jay goalie, who's an outstanding hockey player as well?
Well, Latino is an interesting story, Barry. He's only playing in the goal the last year and a half. He was a converted midfielder. Middle of ninth grade, they needed a goalie. Latino said, I'll play the goal, coach, never having done so before, and has just been working hard at that position, and he really developed himself into being a really good stopper. He plays with a lot of intensity, according to Coach Savastano.
He had 14 saves in the 9-6 victory that Huntington earned. Both goalies were outstanding in that game. We'll bring in our colleagues in just a moment, as right now working the ball, the John Jay Cross River Indians, 20-2. They lost to Huntington 9-6, lost in regular overtime to Garden City 7-6, and beat Manhasset 9-8 in triple overtime. Their impressive non-league win came over Corning East. Now they get a warning as they get in tight, and the ball goes behind the goal, and it will roll out of bounds and still be John Jay ball. Now they reverse it, a deflection, and they're going to call it in the hands of Huntington.
You know, this is John Jay's third consecutive trip to the Downstate Championships, the New York State semifinals. They were not competitive against West Islip in 2005, nor last year against Huntington. They've switched between the A and B classification. Now they're back to B. I always felt that they just didn't have confidence. They didn't really believe they belonged in there with the big boys. Certainly this year they should feel just the opposite. They played a very rugged schedule. They've won some big games this year against Corning East, against Manhasset in triple overtime. They played Garden City into overtime. They played Huntington tougher than anybody. This is their big test, and it's a big test especially for Bocklett. This is his third trip to this semifinal game. Can he come up big?
Right now, Ramel Bratton trying to stop number 9, Kevin Stockel. And now they'll work it into the hands of number 12, Chris Bocklett. And Bocklett, the matchup he's going up against Sam Catrone, the long pole midi.
Well, again, I was going to make a comment on the fact that Kevin Stockel is playing at the midfield, has a short stick, and he inverted and took Bratton behind the goal with the short stick. So he's very comfortable with being behind the goal, Barry, but the move was made to keep a short stick on him, get the shorty rather than have a pole pick up Stockel.
Now Camden East with the short stick, a fine defensive player. He was playing Kevin Drew, who's perhaps their best all-around athlete on the team, Kerry. He's number 15. 43 points for the junior that's being heavily recruited by some big-time schools.
He may be, according to Coach Nick Savastano, his best athlete ever that he's coached on the lacrosse team. And Coach Savastano has been around for 8 years at John Jay.
Jake DeCandia going to Nazareth. 22 goals. He's number 18. Now procedure call, and let's bring in Dave Katowski for the first time with about 3 minutes gone and no score in this first quarter.
Well, when I talked to the John Jay coaches earlier, one of the things that they said is possessions are going to be so important in this game, especially in a tight game. These guys have done an unbelievable job in tight games. So right there, they wanted them to keep it in the box, stepped out of the box, a little mental error right there. But we got a pick off right here going the other way now.
Ryan Straub's pass picked off, and back they come. Big number 44, and they've got big defenseman Bobby Crossett, 6'3", 190 senior, crease defenseman, all sectional, going to Endicott College. Falling down was the defender, and do not take advantage of DeCandia. Up top now to Stockel. And again, Stockel against Ramel Bratton. Want to have these guys work on defense. Huntington has really not had possession except for that one shot in the first 4.5 minutes. Sweeping to the left is Kevin Drew. He can run all day. He's got great field sense, as we talked about him. And now they're just playing a very patient game, Kerry.
Well, that's exactly correct, and that's exactly what Coach Nick Savastano said. We're going to be very patient on offense. We certainly, as Dave mentioned just a few moments ago, they want to possess the ball as much as they can, but they got to take better shots than that. Brady is too good a goalie for him to give up a goal stick side at the hip.
Stockel with that last shot, and here is Ramel Bratton. 58 goals, 94 points for the Twin, and he'll get the first shot for a score here. Ramel Bratton with his 59th goal. He was held to 1 goal against John Jay earlier this year, but he makes no mistake on that one.
Well, he just wound up with that right hand, and Kevin Stockel was playing midfield on that goal, Barry, against Bratton, and he was just giving him too much room, and Ramel is smart enough. He saw that he had that room to be able to wind up and take that hard right-handed shot, and he just blew it right past Chris Latino. That was just an excellent, it was a rope, it was just a line drive shot right in the corner of the goal, beautifully placed.
Tyler Grinelli getting ready for the face-off with Mr. Olson, and the ball comes loose, and it'll roll to the sideline, and it will be recovered just in bounds. Oh, Cantonese getting a huge hit. We're going to get a flag thrown on Ryan Boland.
Yeah, big hit right there on the play. On that last goal, though, I think, when Stockel's sitting there looking at it, he says, you know what, he's about 12, 13 yards out. Most guys, you actually let him shoot from there. Not on that one. Not with a Bratton shooting.
We'll be back with the Huntington Extra Man. They lead it 1-0. You're watching the high school game of the week on Telecare. Huntington will be extra man, something you don't want to do with the way this offense runs. Cantonese is 7. 24 goals for the senior going to Hofstra. Working the ball around. 11 is Zach Howell, the playmaker. The Bratton brothers are 3-1. Swing it now to Chamel. Chamel with 56 goals, 74 points. Knack to Ramel, and his shot deflects wide. They have backup, and it'll still be their ball. Steve Mock, the super sophomore, backing up right there.
Barry, point again with the Brattons, both of them. It's like the three-point shooter in basketball. You got to get up on those guys. And how many times have we seen them score the first goal on a far-out shot?
Teams are all even. Cantonese, who hasn't done too much in the playoffs, denied in tight. A scrum for the ball, and finally picked up by the big stick of Bolander. Now check that number 31 picking it up. And as he fly down there, and the shot by the number 31 right on, and the save made, John Jay's man. That was Zach Weil coming up with a scoring opportunity.
Well, Zach Weil normally plays the pole for the John Jay Indians, but right in that situation, of course, he was coming from the man down, Barry, and comes up with the ball. And let me tell you, I think it was Ramel took a hit right in the middle of the goal area. I thought it was a penalty, quite honestly, against Bobby Crossett. I thought he hit him high in the mask, but no penalty was called. But Bratton really took a hit.
The Bratton brothers, tough, outstanding football players, going in about 185 and about 6'1". Chamel will take it. His pass, an errant one, goes all the way downfield, and racing after it, it's picked up by Bocklett. An opportunity here in transition for Chris Bocklett with 63 goals, 38 assists, had 4 goals in the sectional final. They're rather close game against Somers, 14-5. They've blown everybody out. Nyack 18-2, Hendrick Hudson 15-5, Somers 14-5, Saugerties 20-1, Glens Falls 12-2. So they have totally dominated their run into this state semifinal. Now they'll isolate for Brian Douglas.
Well, Douglas is an All-American. He likes to shoot on the run. They set up in the 1-4 to ISO with him, and he drives to his left, takes the bounce shot just wide of the cage for his left hand. But he's an excellent dodger, Barry, and he's got 60 goals, 30 assists on the year. You know, thinking about what these 3 All-American attackmen have accumulated in points, Barry, the 3 of them have over 270 points, 275 to be exact, and that's just that's outstanding in the outer atmosphere to have 3 attackmen with 275 points.
Jake DeCandia taking Straub out deep.
A little asterisk on that, and I'm not taking anything away from John Jay because I really do think they have an excellent team. But the reason those scores are so outlandish, there just isn't much competition for them this year in Section 1 up in Westchester in the Bs. It's one of the reasons they've scheduled so many games against tough competition outside of their area.
Kevin Drew with the tough luck hit the pipe. Will step out. It's 1-0 Huntington. 3:55 to go in the first quarter. Brian Straub headed to Quinnipiac. Will put the ball in play. The All-County 2 years in a row defender. And we wait the resumption of play here. Our officials, by the way, from Section 2, John Sticku, the umpire, is Jim Martin. John Sticku is the referee. Section 11, Bob Hutchinson, the field judge. And Ray Buckley, our good friend Ray Buckley from Section 8, is the CBO. Into the sun. They'll make the pass, and it's corralled far side. Huntington. That was Ryan Askeberg who made the catch. Now they'll set up here. Zach Howell, number 11, checked out of his stick by Justin Schneidman. He's a big boy at 6'5", 200. You're not going to see any bigger defensemen than the 3 that they have out here for John Jay.
They could start for most basketball teams in college, Barry, going 6'3", 6'4", 6'5".
All right, now they'll work it out, but they also can run, so they're not any, old-style Targets football-type players. Here's Cantonese sweeping to the right. Looking for help, back out to Olsen. These 2 guys do a terrific job, and the bounce shot just goes wide.
The defensemen can do more than run. They are very, very good. They may be the best set of 3 defensemen I've seen this year. I saw the Manhasset game in person, and then I saw a couple of their games on TV. In all 3 games that I saw, very impressed by all 3 defensemen. Very reminiscent of the Ward Melville 3 from last year that all went on to make their mark in college. These guys are good.
Shots are even at 5-5. Now, Howell, the first time they played, was shut out completely. Did not have a goal, did not have assist carry. We highlighted Howell. And remember, Bolander didn't play that game. It'll be interesting to see how Zach steps up here today as they clear to the far side.
Yeah, that was a real interesting point that, the Bolander, the 2-time All-American defenseman, was not playing in that first Huntington game when they met earlier this season.
Here's Justin Schneidman with a big stick. Scores! The senior going to Providence ties the game.
We love it. We love it when the long pole does their thing. It's a trend we've been noting, and we make mark of it every time it happens. It's a tough shot for the goalie, and it's also, what's surprising me is the defenders aren't picking up on the long poles now when they come in. They let them take the shot.
1-1 our score. We'll be right back. 2:22 to go, first quarter. Well, stepping up big time, Justin Schneidman, and Olsen has the ball stripped away by Tyler Granelli. So Granelli comes up with the face-off, and John Jay, which has had most of the possession for the first 7 or 8 minutes, with the ball right now, and they'll try to set up on the attack here. Number 15 is Kevin Drew, and he gets in tight, misses the cage.
What's also interesting about the defensive threesome for John Jay, the coach is willing to let, he switches it around. Number 19, Schneidman played Ryan Young from Manhasset, their top player, and they let Bolander, number 34, take sophomore, what's his name? No, for Manhasset, for Connor English. So my point being that he kind of thinks they're equal. He kind of thinks they all can do the job.
Stockel feet on the crease. Coffey with a great check from behind. That ball deflected wide. But Coffey saved the day on a point-blank opportunity. Number 6, the defender.
Oh, and what a great feed. That was Tyler Granelli who got that ball right in off the crease area, and he got a super feed. Was able to just turn and had a great look at the cage, and if it wasn't for the outstanding effort of the defenseman coming across, that could have easily been in the back of the net.
If you remember in the Garden City game, Garden City got a ton of great looks, a ton of great chances in the first half, and it was only Sean Brady's brilliant play, Dave Katowski, that kept Huntington from being down by 3 or 4 goals at halftime.
I've seen Sean Brady play a lot of lacrosse games. That's probably one of the best games I've seen him play. And he started off again today with 3 big saves right away. The last shot's a tough one. Coming from the long pole, as Art said, different angle. And the long pole did something no one else did. He bounced the ball.
He had 17 saves in that Garden City game and had 18 saves against John Jay when they played earlier this season. Ball knocked away. We're down to 56 seconds to go. And the ball batted around. It's recovered by Bachlet. Bachlet, who's got great eyes, nice feed, and that one wide, taken by Brian Douglas.
Well, that was a nice feed by Bachlet to find Brian Douglas, the senior All-American, who really just had a nice look at the cage, but I thought he got a little bit of pressure coming in at him from Brian Straub, which really, I think, helped take that shot away.
Coffey, a great job. The ball knocked out of his stick, however, and it will go over to John Jay right in front of their coach, Nick Savastano. In his 8th year, 120 wins, only 35 losses.
No, he's done a great job. They've won the Section 1 championships last 3 years now, including this year, 2005 and 2006, and this year being the 3rd straight sectional championship.
Only to be thwarted by Long Island teams. 2 years ago when they were B, they were crushed by Huntington 14-2, and Huntington's run for a championship. Last year they were destroyed by West Islip when they were in A school, so they've got something to prove to the folks here in Long Island.
Yeah, and they keep flip-flopping between A and B, but certainly they have not had illustrious games played against the Long Island teams in the state semis.
Tyler Grinelli will get the ball across to Ryan Bolander. Bolander, great positional defender, leads the team in ground balls, big physical player. And now is Stockel getting in tight, and the ball rolls free far side, and a good check by Freddie Cantonese. Kevin Drew will pick it up. 13 seconds to go in this 1-1 first quarter. I don't know if they're aware of the time, but here's Douglas with 5, 4. Douglas getting in tight, bounces it wide, and that will do it for the first quarter. At the end of 1, low scoring between these high-scoring teams. It's Huntington 1, John Jay 1. We'll be right back. We are back. Stick check. And it looks like the stick is okay as they check Shamel Bratton's stick. Art, your thoughts after the first quarter and about some of the other teams that these two teams have played throughout the year?
Well, there's a word that I think is going through John Jay's mind, particularly the coaches. That's Niskayuna. An underrated power from Section 2 up north, came down here a couple of years ago to Hofstra, was a enormous underdog to West Islip. No one thought they had a chance, and they blew West Islip out. West Islip, many thought, was looking ahead. Maybe Huntington is here too.
Zach Howell coming up with the ball. Zach Howell, again, we highlighted Zach. He's had a terrific career going to Duke. Now it'll go behind now to Bratton. Shamel trying to wheel and deal on the defender coming around. Gets the shot. It's deflected. They have backup, and it'll still be Huntington ball. In that first quarter, John Jay outshot Huntington 10-5. 4 saves for the John Jay goalie Latino, and 3 for the Huntington goalie Brady, and they get in tight, and they score sneaking from behind. Coming up with the goal, number 22, Steve Mock, the super sophomore, goal number 36.
Well, he does a really great job, Barry. He starts from behind the cage, and he gives a nice little face dodge or two to take on the defender, and that face dodge really froze the defender, and it forced him leaning. He got the defender leaning and allowed Steve Mock, the little sophomore now, to get his 36th goal as he got in tight on the goalie Latino.
And his 6th goal of the playoffs, second time he scored against John Jay as they go for the loose ball here.
I'll tell you, the key to that goal was the fact that Steve Mock realized they're going to try and cover him with a short stick. He's an attackman. Attackman sees a short stick. He says, you know what, I'm going to go to the goal because they're going to move the long pole up to cover the other Bratton, and that's the difference right there.
He's very good going to the goal, and especially from behind carries. Very shifty, not a big kid, 5'9", about 145 pounds. And now Huntington back on defense. John Jay with the ball. Early second quarter, a minute in, Barry Landers along with Kerry Gluck, Art Kaminsky, Alan Hodish, and Dave Katowski, the rest of our great broadcasting crew. Here's Douglas with the shot, and they're trying to shut off Bachlet. Asperg is shutting him off. Kerry will keep an eye on that. Asperg, of course, is number 8. He's midi. Check that. We'll pick it up. Ryan Asperg, the defender, his brother, and that one goes wide, and good opportunity from in tight out.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of opportunities here. They're out shooting Huntington 12-6 is John Jay. Interestingly enough, also you see Zach Howell playing a lot of midfield, and that opens up more opportunities for Steve Mock. Good move by Huntington, because Zach can certainly play midfield.
All right, second midfield on for the first time. Number 30 is Mike Santeri, 13 goals. He's a senior going to Western New England. Has been picking up some pretty good players. Also out there, we'll pick it up at number 9, Stockel, playing out in the midfield, drawing that short stick of Cantonese. Stockel got into position and scores. Stockel with a nice hard shot off stick side to tie it at 2.
Well, that's just a nice move. He had the short stick. Fred Cantonese playing him. He drove to his right, rolled back to the left hand, protected the stick well with the left hand, and really let a left-handed shot go. And that really was a nice placement to the off-stick side of goalie Brady.
All-American going to Drexel with his 48th of the year. We're tied at 2. We'll return in a moment. Tyler Granelli getting ready to face off with Brett Olson after the game is tied at 2 on the goal by the youngster coming up with the big goal moments ago. And off the face-off, they dominate, and Olson will make them pay, winning the face-off and going all the way.
That was Olson completely. Won the face-off clean, came in, faked the pass to the right, had the goalie bite, and then put it right in the top corner. That's as nice a lacrosse play as you're ever going to see.
Senior all-county player going to Tufts with his 3rd goal of the playoff. Second time he scored against Sean Jay, and his 20th of the year.
You know, we've been commenting a lot, Barry, about how well Olson has done on faceoffs. I mean, he dominated the Kings Park guy, Montemuro, who's an Empire Stater, and here, big faceoff and a huge goal.
And Huntington winning 4 of the 6 faceoffs, and the John Jay coach, Nick Savastino, wants to call a timeout right here. Give us a chance to step out. And Huntington leading it 3-2. The New York State semifinals. We'll be back in a moment. On a team of stars, all-county player going to Hofstra sometimes gets overlooked, but Fred Cantonese is a terrific player. He had his big playoff last year, and he's had another big game today.
And that's why I was a little surprised. He's always a very tenacious player, particularly on defense. And on that last goal by John Jay, he gave Stockel much too much room, allowing him to be vulnerable to a very nice face dodge by Stockel. I bet that won't happen again. I'll predict that Cantonese will play Stockel, whoever he plays against, for John Jay, much closer, much tighter the rest of the game.
Quickly recapping, Ramel Bratton made it 1-0 Huntington, and then the big pole of Mr. Justin Schneidman tied it at 1-1. And then Steve Mock early in the second quarter made it 2-1 Huntington. John Jay came back to make it 2-2 on a goal by Kevin Stockel. And then Brett Olson, who won another face-off there to give him 5 out of 7, scored to make it 3-2. And that's the way we stand here with 9:49 to go here in this second quarter. Olson on the wing to Cantonese. In traffic is Mock. Gets leveled, and a flag is going to be called. So Huntington will be extra man Dave Katowski for the second time.
You know, John Jay's done a great job of controlling the ball, controlling the possessions. They got to stay out of the penalty box, because this is not a man-down unit that you want to keep on the field.
It's going to be a high hit, a push, 30-second push, and it will be extra man opportunity for Huntington. Again, this is an explosive Huntington team, Kerry. They can make runs, and for John Jay, for both these two teams, they have to limit those runs by either team.
Oh, absolutely. They're very explosive. I mean, you're dealing with 2 offenses, and look.
Oh, Howe, what a great feed as he finds his man wide open in tight, and Huntington ups the lead. Brett Olson coming up with the goal.
His second goal now, Barry. That brings him up to number 20, and that was just a great feed on the extra man. They didn't cover. They didn't slide into the crease area. They left it open, and the feed came right into that crease, and Brett Olson standing there looking right at Latino with the one-on-one against Latino, and finishes it nicely.
So Olson, who's dominated faceoffs 5 out of 7 and has scored 2 goals so far. And as you pointed out, Art, there's so many weapons on this team.
Well, that's what I said. It's the best 6-man offensive unit I've ever seen. Olson would probably be the 5th of the 6, with Mock maybe being the 6th on seniority. Olson, quote, is only going to Tufts, which is a terrific Division III team. But much like we've said about Cantonese the last 2 years, on any other team, he'd be a huge star.
Well, again, this is more than just the Bratton brothers and Zach Howell. There are a lot of players on this team on the attack. Oh, that time Cantonese couldn't control it. Huntington with a 4-2 lead. And the first time these two teams, this was the score at halftime. 4-2 Huntington led. They led after 3, 7-4, and then won it 9-6. And right now they maintain a 2-goal lead as Shamel Bratton will take it behind against the All-American defender Ryan Bolander. Great matchup here. Bolander very physical. Makes the pass open. Olsen shot off the pipe.
Great save. Great teamwork there. But also I want to comment, did you notice how many Huntington guys went after that loose ground ball as it approached the sideline and the midline? At least 4 different Huntington players touched the ball so they could retain possession. Not only are they good, but they work hard and they work as a team.
Huntington will make a substitution. Mike Teneri will come in that second midfield. They don't use that second midfield too much, but he's out there right now. Mike Teneri with 3 goals. He's a senior, mostly a defensive midi, playing with Cantonese, and Ramel Bratton in the midfield. Bratton moving in on the defender, Zach Weil, and it goes wide. They'll maintain possession.
Note the speed of these shots. When the Brattons shoot them, they are noticeably faster and harder than anybody else who plays the game. Another quick word about Steve Mock, sophomore. They had to replace a great scorer in Austin Carino last year. He had scored as many as 84, I think, goals for Huntington, and Mox moved in there, made it a seamless substitution.
Shamel Bratton, who has become a good feeder this year, as well as his brother Ramel, playing more unselfishly. Up top, having a little trouble was Teneri. Back now to Cantonese. Sweeping is Ramel. Takes the shot, and the save made by Latino. He'll scoop up the rebound, and let's see what the call is going to be.
I think the call is interference. I said, the interesting thing about Huntington, kind of like Art was saying with the many weapons as they do have, the thing is they actually start their offense really with a one-on-one offense, but then the difference against other teams is they move the ball. And that's a key to what they do. They start with the one-on-one move, then they move the ball. The rest of the 5 guys are all moving the whole time.
Brett Olsen coming back on in the midfield as he replaces Teneri. Olsen getting a little bit of a breather. The shot from the wing wide by Mock as it was down low. And again, Huntington retaining possession with backup. 7:14 to go here in the second quarter. And the Huntington Blue Devils with a 4-2 lead as they seek their 64th win in a row. And we'll go on to play the winner of the Corning East Penn Yan game for the New York State Class B Championship up in Syracuse. I beg your pardon. And now here we go to the right. Here's Shamel Bratton. Down low, and Olsen with the hot hand. Brett burns him again.
Well, that was just a great left-handed shot. Again, he's only about 10 yards out, and he gets a great feed from Bratton right onto the stick, and Olsen gets his 3rd goal in a row, Barry. That brings him up to number 22, I believe, or 21 on the season. But he had a great look at the cage. The double went over to pick up Bratton, and they did that before, and that's what the last shot that he took that hit off the pipe was because they doubled and they didn't slide quick enough to cover up on Olsen, and they're going to give Brett Olsen a lot of room.
Brett has the stick knocked out of his hand after apparently winning the faceoff. Schneidman picks it up. Remember, he had a goal early with that long pole. Gooses it off to his teammate, and it's finally corralled by ever-cool Sean Brady. Off to Coffey. And Pat Coffey, the junior defender, great size at 6'3", 200 pounds, up to the man of the hour, Olsen, and we get a timeout taken by Huntington.
You know what? I think it was a good timeout right there. Olsen, I think, was just on the field for the last 5 or 6 minutes. Took faceoff after faceoff, scored a goal, and they said, you know what? We cleared the ball. Let's take our time here. And they're playing great right now. Got to keep it up.
Well, you see, Kip Lucarelli is an emotional guy. He's the former great coach at Harborfields High School. Been an assistant over with Paul McDermott for several years now. But right now, Huntington cooking 5-2, and 6:35 to go when we return on the Game of the Week. There's Kip Lucarelli in the middle of things. He's a very demonstrative, intense, emotional guy. Coached some great teams when he was coaching at Harborfields, Carey. And right now, the Huntington team with a 3-goal lead at 5-2.
Well, right now, this is the tempo I think that that Huntington really would like to maintain. And as you look at the game as it's progressed to this point, Barry, first quarter was really a lot of possession for John Jay. The second quarter, however, has really gone the opposite way, and it's been all possession for the Blue Devils.
Carey, that penalty really kind of turned things around. They scored that extra man goal, and you can't give Huntington those extra opportunities, a 6-on-5. Here's the red-hot Olsen with 3 of those 5 goals. Swing it behind now to Howell. Howell with a nice assist earlier. And we mentioned that he was shut out the first time these two clubs played. Cantony slips, gets back up. Hey, oh, what a shot!
That's an unbelievable play by Cantonese right there. We talked about him earlier. He actually slips down and then pulls the stick underneath the defender, comes in and rips it top shelf.
Now, that was Kevin Drew, the defender. I don't think Drew expected Cantonese to be able to maintain the possession, much less to come up and get a shot like that. And he comes up underhanded with the shot, so it's a rising shot from where he was. And it just, I think it also caught Latino by surprise as well. I don't think, Latino, let's keep in mind, Latino's only been playing this game for a year and a half. I don't think that he has seen too many players that have the velocity that these Huntington players have on their shooting.
John Jay shotless for quite a long time. Olsen wins another face-off. It's picked up by Ramel Bratton. And here's Bratton bouncing off a hit. Again, Huntington doing it with the Bratton brothers scoring only 1 of the 6 goals so far.
Where do you think Cantonese learned to take a shot like that? Well, that's playing with the Brattons every day for the last couple of years. No question, their influence was clearly evident there. The only mistake that John Jay has made in this quarter is they let Huntington touch the ball. As long as Huntington doesn't touch the ball, they're in great shape. But once they touch the ball, they're unstoppable.
Look at that effort by the Bratton brothers, and they're going to come up with the ball. Nope. Going to call a hold, a loose ball hold. So it'll go back over to John Jay, who is stunned right now. Remember, this was a 1-1 game, and now 2-2 game, and they've scored 4 unanswered goals right here. And again, the last time the clubs played, it was 7-4 at halftime. Huntington leading by 3, and they ended up winning it 9-6. But remember, 1 goal was scored with the long pole, so their potent attack carry's been pretty much kept off the board. Let's see if they can get it going here in transition. Up top now, they'll work it. This is Douglas. Douglas will isolate as he comes back upfield. He's got Coffey, good-looking junior defender, who's a great takeaway guy. Off now on the wing to Bachlet. Bachlet will go behind. Great stick skills, very crafty. Getting inside, gets the shot off. Brady got a piece of it as he turned inside on the defender, Eskberg. And here's the shot right on. Another big save, robbing Douglas.
What I did like about Huntington, the double down to Bachlet by Catrone really helped and made it a very difficult shot by Bachlet. He did that inside roll, but Catrone came from the inside.
And Ramel Bratton rips that one wide with 4:34 to go. And Huntington with a 6-2 lead.
See, Brady, I don't think gets enough credit. I mean, the best example, he didn't make the All-American team because Huntington's got too many. But I think he's going to be a tremendous force when he gets to Duke. He'll play a lot for Duke. He makes so many important saves for them, and he makes them at tough points in the game when they really need him to come up big and let them continue their momentum, as he did just there.
Well, a tale of 2 quarters. Huntington held to 5 shots in the first quarter, 11 here in the second, and they've scored on 5 of those shots. And now they're working around. More second midfielders. Joe Askberg, 18, is on with Mike Teneri. Staying on is Cantonese. And he goes down, and another flag. And the ball still batted around. The over-aggressiveness now, and John Jay losing their cool. They'll be 2 men down.
This is just not what you want from John Jay right here. The push is one thing, being aggressive, but then the next foul is after the whistle with a slash to the back of the leg right there. Just unnecessary. Now you're going to be down 2 men. You're in big trouble right now, John Jay.
We'll be back. 3:54 to go. The Blue Devils lead by 4. You're watching Championship Lacrosse. John Jay with 2 men in the box, one for 1 minute, the other for 30 seconds. So for 30 seconds, they'll be down 2 men. And Huntington with their potent extra man. Here's Olsen cutting down. Mock. Back to Olsen, the cutter, and that one deflects wide. That time Cantonese was sneaking in for the layup.
Well, I love the play that they actually run. What they do is they start out in that almost a 3-3. They go to a 3-3 to a 1-3-2, and then they jump right into a 1-4-1, and it catches the defense by unsurprised. That's where they get the 2 cutters, by having the 1-4-1 and the 2 guys on the crease.
And the pass eludes Shamel Bratton. Still 2 men up. And a push. We're going to get a call here. Looked at, or is there offside? The box official was looking as number 9. And what's the call going to be? It's going to be against Huntington. They're going to lose the ball as the push against Ryan Askberg. One man is back now. It's 6-on-5. And a man down, Chris Pocklet, to his teammate. This is Douglas, who stumbles into a double. Coffey is there along with Sam Catrone. And a timeout, desperate timeout taken by John Jay.
Well, Coach Savastano did a nice job calling that timeout there, because they were about to lose the ball with the double and triple team coming up.
I want to thank some of our great sponsors from Huntington: Steve Mock Associates, Chris Olson, attorney at law, Brady Risk Management, Junior's Pizza, with the best pizza in town, LongIslandRemodel.com. Want to thank the Costas family, Bob Costas family there. And Huntington Village Sports, Christopher's Restaurant, some of the great sponsors from Huntington bringing you today's game. We'll be back. You're watching Championship Lacrosse on Telecare. Well, Nick Savastano's club in trouble, Kerry. They did kill one man on the disadvantage. They've got still seconds left in the second penalty. But what's he talking about right now, do you think, in that hub?
Well, first I think he's really praising the man-down defense. They were two men down. They withstood it for the first 30 seconds. Though they are still man down, he's probably reminding them of that, and the fact, depending on how much time is left in the second penalty, whether or not to be alert to perhaps a Huntington double on the ball, being that Huntington is still the extra man. I think, of course, he's trying to get the ball to get behind the cage and allow the short stick to come on as soon as they get the penalty up. And you see the double of the Brattons right now on number 15. That's Kevin Drew. So we're going to see if he can get rid of the ball or whether he looks to beat the double.
7 seconds left in the penalty, so just minimal amount of time, and he pretty much, with that speed of his, should be able to beat it. So he'll work it now. Teams are all even. Here's Drew getting in, and Drew attacked from behind as he got the shot.
Well, if it wasn't for the effort of Ramel Bratton, that had goal written all over it, Barry. His hustle just saved that with a stick check as Drew was ready to take the shot.
Often overlooked the way the Bratton brothers are playing defense this year.
Well, it's great recovery, great athletic play there, and they get the backup as well. So Huntington gets the ball back, and it's still all even at this point, Barry.
Up to Cantonese. Coffey on that clear. And a nice feed, but Olson just couldn't get it. Olson will chase after it. Whacked away by Bobby Crossett, the big defender. And we get a timeout taken by Huntington. So the Blue Devils leading at 6-2, 2:34 to go here in the first half. We'll talk things over with a 4-goal lead. We'll be right back. Duke bound. John Danowski going to get a good one in this kid, Sean Brady. And what a great job he's done for the last 2 years in school.
Yeah, and he may not have made Suffolk County All-American. They can only take 8. However, he did make Under Armour All-American, which is the best players in the nation that are attending college next year. He'll be playing at Loyola next weekend, along with the Brattons and Zach Howell. And he's also an Empire Stater and also heading off to Duke. And has had a great playoff, as you mentioned, against Garden City. So he's all that, as they say about Sean Brady.
Well, you don't win games unless you got strong players in goal, especially playoff time. And again, as we pointed out, when you have such a high-powered offense, often goalies get overlooked. We talked about over the years with the great teams that Ward Melville had. Maybe they had a Greg Catrano there, but they had some great goalies besides Greg. But with all the attack and all the scoring that Joe Cuzo's club had, let's see what happens here after the timeout. They work it. Hard shot from the wing that time, taken by Ramel. And now they need to get something going here to get a little momentum, a goal carry, just to give them some confidence as they have trouble clearing the ball here. And Cantonese will scoop it up.
Nice ride, I thought, by the Huntington Blue Devils. They did a great job. And again, look at the ride by the attack at the other end of the field by the John Jay threesome.
Coffey after it. And now the ball back past Straub. And it'll be a timeout. Nope. What's the call going to be here? I tell you, Shamel Bratton upset with the call down in the field. He's got to keep his emotions under control because they'll be back on defense. Huntington with the ground balls. They have 11 to John Jay's 6. They've done a good job there. And with it is Kevin Drew with 1:38 to go and his club down by 4.
I hate to overemphasize it, but it does seem to me that this is an important potential goal for John Jay. 6-3 will make him feel a lot better than 6-2.
There it is. Kevin Drew with the goal. as he was able to get the step on Cantonese playing with the short stick and score.
Again, Barry, that's the second time now that Drew has scored against the short stick. He went one-on-one. He isolated him from the backside. And Kevin Drew, who's got great speed, he's all sectional at the midfield, is just a tremendous midfielder, and he's using his speed to beat Cantonese, and the short stick is having some problems. They recognize, John Jay's recognizing where the shorty is, and they're looking to attack that short stick very wisely.
Well, I'll tell you, Dom Starcher used to say, big players need to play big in big games, and Kevin Drew has got to make sure he's got the ball in his stick to keep this John Jay team in this game right now.
That's what we talked about him being a junior, being very highly recruited. Ball batted around, and they come up with a big possession here to give him some momentum. This is Bachlet 12. 1:13 to go. This Fortin offense trying to get on track. Stockel. They'll swing it. Now waiting for Brian Douglas to come on. The senior going to Yale. 60 goals on the year. 90 points. Trying to get inside. Now cut back. Coffee all over him. Off the stick of Candia. Candia will recover with 48 seconds to go.
If 6'3" would be better, 6'4" would look even nicer in the locker room. So again, I emphasize these are very important opportunities for John Jay. They've got to stay within sniffing distance.
They limited Huntington's run to 4 in a row. Huntington's capable of running 7 or 8 in a row. Ask Garden City after playing so well in the first half against them 2 nights ago. Here is Stockel. Going up against Olsen, 22 seconds to go. Now Olsen replaced by Straub as they switch defenders.
That was really a smart defensive move to put the pole and bring it back out on Kevin Stockel. And you'll notice now how Stockel inverts. And again, they're going to give it up to the shorty, Drew, coming in off the floor.
Sweeps to his right, the bounce shot. Brady, a big save. 5 seconds to go. He'll just hold the ball here. Cheap cleared as the first half will come to an end.
And it was a nice save, too, by Brady, and very smartly getting rid of the ball and not taking any chances at the defensive end. Good quarter for the Blue Devils.
And Alan Hodish as we go to halftime with Huntington leading by 3.
Yeah, Blue Devils showed a little firepower there. A good finishing goal and a good flurry at the end here by John Jay. 6-3, we got a ball game, Barry.
Great game so far. Gotta love it. I tell you, the difference right now is Brady. He's been playing great. The only thing, though, is I think he actually got hurt there at the end of that play. Not sure exactly what happened, but he's limping off the field right now. We'll got to keep an eye on him.
I absolutely think Brady made an important difference in this game. These are 2 excellent teams. They certainly are two of the 5 best teams, I think, in the country. And it gives you an idea of how strong Huntington is, that they could actually have a 3-goal lead on a team with as much talent as John Jay.
That's the story. Stay tuned for our halftime report. Got some interesting guests coming your way. You're watching Championship High School Lacrosse on Telecare. Huntington and White leading it by a score of 6-3. They had a 3-goal lead the last time these two clubs played at halftime, 7-4. Ended up winning it 9-6. And face off again to Huntington. They have won 9 of the 12 face-offs. And this is Mock, who scored one of the goals today. On the wing to Howell, who has an assist. Up top to the man of the hour, Cantonese, getting it up to Olsen. And Olsen with 3 goals, 21 on the year, isolating against the short stick of the defender. And that was number 12, Bachlet, who's playing defense. Trying to feed a pass in. That time it was broken up. Loose ball. Still scramble, getting real physical and rough. A push from behind that time going to be called against John Jay. And it will stay in the hands of Huntington.
Yeah, Barry, it looks like John Jay's come out trying to get real physical in this game.
Great feed, and Mock will bury it. Howell with one of those great assists, the playmaker, and Mock with the layup.
What happened there is that just Huntington put the ball in very quickly, and I think they got really behind the defense. Howell just finds Mock right on the doorstep. And when you're on the doorstep, this young attackman is a sophomore, plays like a senior. He's going to finish it and put it away.
37th of the year, 2nd of the game, 7th of the playoffs. We're going to give you those halftime stats. John Jay in the first half out, and Huntington 18 shots apiece. But the big number in stats was the winning of the faceoffs. They won 8 of 11. Now it is 9 of 13. And what an important opportunity for Bachlet here, who had 4 goals and an assist. Bratton all over him as they play on. No foul there, just tough, aggressive defense. Again, Bachlet, 4 of his goals came against, 4 of his 63, came against Huntington. Drew who has been hot, bounce shot, and Brady, who had a little trouble, Dave Katowski, with apparently his leg at the end of the first half. Looks like he's okay now.
Yeah, he looks like he's just fine. I don't like the shot by Drew, though. It's one of those situations where you can't just sit there, have your feet planted, and take a shot like that. You got to move the goalie, especially with a goalie as good as you.
Wow, a great feed trying to go behind the head mock, and he couldn't finish.
Hey, that was a great feed by Howell. He was in traffic. He had double teamed, triple teamed, and then he picks out Mock standing right on the crease, and just Mock a little bit ahead of that near pipe has to go behind the back with that shot.
Drew legs it down. It's a 7-3 score. Huntington leading, as we've got about 9:50 to go here in the third quarter.
Yeah, Zach Howell is the engine that really runs this team. He is the quarterback and finds people. There's so many good things out there. Very unselfish ball player, Barry.
4-year starter, 3-year all-county player, and All-American this year. Mentioned he was a great football player. We highlighted him to start the game. Now trying to turn. Straub all over the player, and Straub's going to be called for a foul as he took down Jake Candia. We'll be back with Huntington down a man for the first time in this game. A 1-minute slashing penalty. They lead it 7-3. We'll be back in a moment. John Jay operating about 35% man up carry with a huge extra man opportunity here against the Huntington defense.
Yeah, this is a really good opportunity. They need to get a goal back that was just scored by Huntington at the other end of the field as Straub got called for the slash on that last play at their defensive end.
Dave, what are they setting up?
They're in a 3-3 right now, just moving the ball from the outside. And one of the difference versus a Huntington is Huntington jumps into their offense immediately, where John Jay is taking their time right now, which might not be a bad thing. It keeps the ball away from that powerful offense that Huntington has.
All right, Stockel swings it. Candia back to Stockel. Near side, Drew. Up top, Stockel feeds on the wing, and they score. Well set up, and Brian Douglas finishes.
And that was a nice look by Kevin Stockel. And they moved the ball around. And, as Dave said, they were very patient on their extra man. They moved it around the perimeter. And then Kevin Stockel gives a little bit of a fake to the inside and then dumps it down low to Brian Douglas, who's right on the doorstep as the zone is sliding towards Stockel.
Douglas, who had a goal against Huntington, had an assist the first time, now with his 61st goal. We mentioned going to Yale, and has really come out of the postseason. 5 goals in the sectional finals, and again an important faceoff coming up. They've changed faceoff men here. Now John Jay using number 26, Harrison Silver, and they win the faceoff, but knocked away from behind by Bratton. Good hustle by Ramel Bratton, and Cantonese will start the fast break. Cantonese checked from behind, and Fred able to bring it down. The senior coming to Hofstra, all county this year. Back outside now, Cantonese. Up top now to Ramel Bratton. Brattons have only scored 1 of the 7 goals today. Ramel will try to change that. The shot blocked, and comes back now to the goalie, Latino. Up now for a quick clear to number 44, Crossett. Crossett swings it far side into the stick of Bachlet. See if they can run off 2 in a row, something they haven't done. Bachlet getting in tight, gets checked and scores! What an amazing goal. 2 men took him down, and we've got a flag on the play as well.
Great play. I think the flag's wiped out. I think they're going to call a push on the play, but you know what? That was just all a single man move right there. He goes right down the middle. He gets leveled as he's taking the shot, but he still somehow gets it to sneak in.
John Jay got some momentum now going. They've got to keep it going by winning some faceoffs. They need to get enough possessions to be competitive.
We'll be back at 7-5, 7:57 to go, third quarter. Well, they have switched faceoff men. Harrison Silver, the wings have come in on the last faceoffs to really be important. Olsen being held up. Silver ties him up. Scramble for the ball. Can Olsen pick it up? Has his stick knocked out of his hand. Loose ball. Howell trying to come up with it. He's triple teamed, whacked away. And no flags as play continues. A real scrum here. And finally Howell picks it up. Howell fakes, takes the shot, blocked by the defender. And it's recovered by number 1, Shamel Bratton. Little unsettled situation here. Huntington should slow it up, Kerry. They've got the 2-goal lead. Reset here. They seemed a little rattled there, but now Mock will take a shot from way outside.
Well, he had some space, and Steve Mock, the young sophomore, stepped nicely to the goal, just sent that goal wide. But yeah, I think that was an important opportunity now for Huntington to be able to get settled down, get into their offense, take a little bit of time off the clock, get a good look at the cage, and see if they can't put one in the net to be able to thwart the momentum change.
7-5 is our score. Huntington led by 4, 7-3. And that feed goes awry, intended for Mock. Loose ball. Bratton after it. Cantonese comes up with it. And here's Chamel. Back up to Cantonese. The hot man has been Olsen. And he'll score again!
I'll tell you, that is just a great shot by Olsen. They move the ball. Cantonese gets the ball over to him, makes a one quick move, and I'll tell you, what a release on that shot. His 4th goal of the game. Once again, he puts it top shelf.
How important are those 2 ground balls in the last minute for Huntington? They don't get those ground balls, they don't get the score. John Jay had a chance to close to within 1 goal. Each time John Jay starts to get a little momentum, they lose it on the face-offs of the ground balls.
Little things, Kerry, that don't often show up in the box score.
Oh, they're big things that often don't show up in the box score. But we all know that ground balls are so important. But I just Brett Olsen is showing another dimension of his game in this one.
All right, and what now? The Brattons come up with it. We talked about Olsen going to Tufts. Are they going to get a player there? And right now, Chamel trying to add to that lead, trying to go underhand with that shot. Not a good choice there, Kerry. Didn't get anything on it. Huntington goes on their 4th extra man. They're 1 for 3, and they'll try to regain the 2-goal lead here. 30-second penalty to Justin Schneidman. Cantonese to the hot Olsen playing in the middle. Ramel on the wing to Powell. Chamel in behind. Penalty time running down. Chamel with a couple of moves. Oh, how about that? No goal. They said he stepped into the crease. Great moves, but he stepped into the crease.
He was shaking and baking on that crease line, Barry, but the referee right there said it was a crease violation, and they waved off the goal, and now we get a flag being called. It's going to be an unsportsmanlike. We were talking about that before. Dave Katowski and I were saying the Brattons better watch themselves, the way they're reacting to some of the calls, and now number 1, Chamel Bratton, getting called for an unsportsmanlike.
And he'll be going to the box. We'll go to a break. Could be an interesting turning point. It's an 8-5 game. They'll have a non-releasable 1-minute penalty here with 5:07 to go. Kip Lucarelli really lecturing Chamel Bratton on the sideline, trying to get into his head here. This is too important, and they call the 1-minute penalty.
Yeah, and perhaps rightly so. Obviously, we can't hear what was being said, but just by the body language of the Brattons by Chamel, indicates that the referees made the correct call, because this is not the first incident of that kind of action over the course of this game. So surely Kip Lucarelli, now Paul McDermott, talking to Chamel, settle down. Don't get so excited. We're still winning. We don't have to put ourselves in a man-down situation and lose the momentum that we've just gained.
I wouldn't be surprised if Lucarelli's also saying to him, listen, we got a man up right there. Don't try and dodge against 3 guys and a man up. Move the ball. We always taught in college, we never dodge on man up. Move the ball.
Well, they're 5 aside right now. Then they'll have the extra man when shortly. Now it will be a 6-on-5 as the extra man comes on. That's Tyler Grinelli, number 22, the junior. So they've got extra man for about, I'd say from that point on, about 50 seconds. Douglas, 2. Swings it back up top now to Grinelli. Into a 3-3, they're working. They scored extra man earlier. Here's Grinelli on the wing. Looking for the cross feed, nothing there. 4:30 to go. Now the teams are just about even. They are even. Apparently it was a 30-second penalty, not a 1-minute penalty. Stockel. He's got Catrone on him, number 30. Sam going to Providence. He'll be playing with Justin Schneidman, a couple of defensemen playing for the Providence team that made it to the NCAA playoffs this year. Brian Douglas now will take it behind. He's got the short stick against Ramel Bratton. 3:58 to go. They're down 3 here, John Jay. Douglas Douglas with 61 goals. Coming around, feed, oh! And it goes wide. He had a man cutting down. Great look. And that was Tyler Grinelli from the midfield cutting down and almost put it in.
Well, Tyler Grinelli, he was working off the pick off the crease, Barry, is where he got himself open. They're defending against him very tightly with Stroud, but he used very smartly. He used the pick down on the crease to get himself in position to receive that pass.
Tyler with 11 goals, 27 points. They're being patient here now, taking some time to set up a good play. Drew off to the far side. Douglas, Cantonese is shutting off Drew. Two of them go behind the cage. Can't see them now, but that's the matchup. He's staying with them all over the field. Now as they come into the picture, you see top of your picture. Now Cantonese goes off his man. Is it going to be called a shot? Yes, it will be a shot with backup. And Bocklet will back up with 3:02 to go. Third quarter, Huntington leading John Jay by 3. Bocklet. And we get playing on here. Whistle, a crease violation. Huntington ball.
Second time now in the last two plays, Sam Catrone, the pole, doubles up on the ball and forces that crease violation because he gave Bocklet nowhere to go when he had possession.
You know, Barry, they were doubling. They were shutting off also Bocklet. Askerberg was on him, and so they were shutting off two men on that play. Drew as well. And Catrone, good play. Catrone also going to Providence, Barry.
Well, calm and cool. Brady got it up. Here's Cantonese, and he whips it wide. Let's talk about locking off, guys. How do you take advantage of the lock off if you're the offensive team and you got two guys locked off? What do you do?
I'll tell you, I think the best example we saw of it was the Cold Spring Harbor Manhasset game. Ryan Young, who was getting shut off, did a great job of running his guy into a pick. And with Connor English, there's a goal right there by Bratton. Nobody slides to him, fires it home. You can't leave him wide open like that.
So the beat goes on. It's back to a 4-goal lead. Shamel Bratton with the second of the game, 58th of the year, and Huntington back on top by 4.
Well, Shamel Bratton didn't want them to take that one away from him after the last goal was waved off, and he really let a rocket go on the goal to open up the lead again up to 4. They can't seem to break it down, much less in the 3 goals that they've just recently had.
Let me correct myself. First goal of the game for Shamel, 57th of the year. Ramel got one earlier, his 59th. When they're twins, they're close in goals. And right now, coming up with the ball, John Jay, Chris Bach.
Once again, we see you cannot give Huntington an inch. You give them an inch, they'll murder you. They do it better than anybody.
Well, John Jay now with the ball. We'll check out number 21 in the ball game for John Jay for the first time. We'll pick that up for you in just a moment. 21 is Harrison Jones. He'll race off the field. He was on momentarily, and he'll be replaced by Brian Douglas. 1:43 to go. It looked like momentum had swung to John Jay Carey. They cut it to 2, but then Huntington came back with those 2 big goals. Can they close it here? Brady gets a piece of the Stockel shot, going down hard and low, and Huntington looking to clear. Far side. Straub knocked down, out of bounds, lost the ball. Good job that time by number 15, Kevin Drew, on the check.
Once again, we see Brady very comfortable making the hockey kind of save. The low shot at his feet. He goes down just like he was a hockey goalie with his pads and blocks it. Very tough to score on him down there.
Paul McDermott will take a timeout with his club leading 9-5, 1:22 to go in the third quarter. And we'll be back. You're watching the high school game of the week on Telecare. John Jay in trouble, 9-5 they trail with 1:22 to go. Let's talk about the big jamboree coming up on June 16th. It's next week. You'll be able to go over to the Lizards game as they've got a big one there. Dave Katowski, you're going to host the Long Island Metropolitan Lacrosse Foundation Jamboree. There's a lot going on that day. Tell us about it.
Well, as you know, Barry, I actually sit on the board of the Long Island Metropolitan Lacrosse Foundation as well, and this is our big day. This is the big jamboree. The jamboree is going to kick off. We got 8 a.m. games starting, going all day. We stop at about 12:30. The Lizards play the Philadelphia Barrage for about 1 to 3, and then the jamboree kicks off back again. 4 o'clock, we have the Empire Top 50 game. It's the top 50 kids on Long Island trying to make the team. We already have about 50 to 60 coaches who are registered from Division 1, 2, and 3 schools will be at that game. And we also have Mike Pressler will be signing his book with Simon & Schuster at the game, starting at 11 o'clock, going to 2 o'clock. So it should be just an unbelievable day. And we also have, for the first time ever, the Long Island Lizards High School Combine for all kids to come and get they're registered for colleges and get their speed checked. It's going to be a great day.
All right, Straub, off to coffee. And, of course, how about the game the Lizards will be playing? We talked about all the other activities. How about the game that you'll be playing that?
Well, it's a tough one. We're playing against the Philadelphia Barrage. They're undefeated. They won the World Championship last year. We always have battles with them. Last year, we were 2 one-goal games, so we look forward to playing them. It's going to be a great one. Matt Zash, who's a great one from Long Island, Massapequa guy, he'll be playing against us. They have Brian Spallina on the other team, but we like our chances, and we're coming into the game undefeated as well, so it'll be a lot of fun getting in.
You have a new goalie this year.
Murtha has been on fire. I'll tell you, he got buzzed in the chin before the first game, took 20 stitches, and the kid from Manhasset is back.
All right. Dave Gutowski, president of the Lizards, and we look forward. We're going to try to get down there ourselves. We've had a lot of fun going to the Jamboree the last couple of years as well. Shamel Bratton, 28 seconds to go. He's had one, and Ramel has had one. So 7 of the 9 goals have been scored by other than the Bratton brothers.
Well, again, just a tribute to the depth of this Huntington team, and that they can hurt you from so many different places, that they don't rely on just 1 or 2 players to do it.
Try to double team with Wayers Camden East. Down to 8 seconds to go. Ramel will take the shot. Goes wide. 5 seconds left. So enough time carried for them to get the ball in play and possibly score.
Oh, absolutely. From behind the cage, Zach Howell will handle it, and he can make a feed up top, and they can get a shot off easily in 5 seconds. So he's looking to run it himself.
Howell trying to come around, gets the shot off, and it's outside the net. Did not go in, and that will do it for the third quarter. So the Huntington Blue Devils looking for win number 64 and a 3rd consecutive state championship, take a 4-goal lead into the 4th quarter. Last time they played, it was a 3-goal lead after 3. We'll be back. They lead at 9-5 in the New York State semifinals. Well, the winner of this game will go on to play the winner of the Geneva-Jamesville DeWitt game. And Jamesville DeWitt, a team that everybody knows from years past, a perennial power-up state. But Art Kaminsky, how about Geneva?
New team on the scene. They haven't been a factor this late in the game. They're representing Section 5, which is the Rochester area. They beat the Section 6 champion, Buffalo area. And my sources upstate still, they might pull an upset.
No upset here with Olson winning yet another face-off. He has been the story today, the MVP of this game so far. 4 goals, and he has dominated face-offs. If we can read this scribble here, Dave, maybe you could tell me how many face-offs he's won. As here is Ramel Bratton. 11 out of 17. Ramel with 1 goal. Trying to get it up to Olson. He couldn't get it, and here racing down is John Jay. Kevin Drew, who can really leg it down. You got to love this guy, and that's why Syracuse, some of the other schools heavily recruited by Johns Hopkins, and he will be a dandy. 6'2", 175.
And yeah, he's done a great job today too. And he's put some balls in the back of the net for John Jay, and he's helped them a lot in staying in this game. But one thing I did want to point out, as I was talking to Nick Savastano, the coach, earlier, was that he pointed out that Huntington is the only team that scored 9 goals on this John Jay defense, and that's where they are now. And his comment to me before the game was, we've got to keep Huntington under 10. If we keep them under 10, we can win this game. And they've got their chore now. That means they've got to shut out Huntington the rest of the way.
Well, Huntington, for them to lose, would have to give up 5 goals here. I don't know if they could do it in the 4th quarter. It would be quite a miracle comeback as we get a timeout apparently called here by John Jay. Give us a chance to step out before we do acknowledge some of our great new sponsors. Hampton's Mortgage out in East Hampton, sponsoring our lacrosse coverage of Suffolk County Championships and New York State Finals. The Lizards, you've heard about them. Check their website for upcoming games. June 16th and 23rd, the next home games. Lacrosse Unlimited with 7 great Long Island stores, including Babylon, Huntington, and Miller Place. And Landtech, building field turf fields for Long Island schools, and they'll be putting a new field turf field right here at Hofstra at the end of June. We'll be back right after these messages. Well, the John Jay fans have come down here from upper Westchester County. It's up in the Bedford area of Westchester County, and there's some pretty good lacrosse up there. That Yorktown, they've really taken over the last couple of years with an outstanding program under Nick Savastano.
Yep, they absolutely have, and that area has been a hotbed of lacrosse in Westchester County, Barry, from the smaller schools as well as the large schools.
But my sources in Westchester tell me that the river communities are now starting to play lacrosse. Irvington, Dobbs Ferry, Sleepy Hollow, those communities are right along the small schools along the Hudson River, and that's really great for the sport. Alan Hodish for the foundation, too. It's going to bring more kids playing lacrosse in the metropolitan area.
Absolutely, Barry, and it's certainly good for lacrosse, and it's an area that has had some teams, but now they will have that much more. The smaller schools are getting involved. That's fantastic.
And right now, this is Brian Douglas. Coffee has done a terrific job. Give credit to the Huntington defense, Kerry. We talked about, some, again, they get unheralded a little bit. We got Coffee, Askeberg, Straub. Sam Catrone has played a great game with the long pole today. That's the shot blocked by the defense that time. Stockel took the shot. And hustling to the ball, Ramel Bratton, and he's closest to it as it leaves the field.
And an excellent hustle by Bratton. But coming back to your point, Barry, you definitely have to give some credit to this defense. Keep in mind that the attack on John Jay has scored 170 goals. Today, I don't think the attack is more than maybe one or two.
Check that out. Super Stats. Alan Moy will let us know if he can calculate that for us. 2 minutes gone here in the fourth quarter. Huntington leading it 9-5, trying to win their third downstate championship in a row and be one game away from a New York State title. Of course, last year they beat Sayville. In 05, they beat Sayville, Hewlett, and went on to win the New York State championship. In 06, they beat Compsawag, Garden City, and went on to win the New York State championship. And, we're talking about Westchester, the Hudson Valley area, too, has also come up with some outstanding young players and really a rebirth or a regeneration of interest.
It really has. And, one of the things is, we work as the Long Island Metropolitan Lacrosse Foundation. We try to do so much to grow the game of lacrosse in the inner city and bringing some new things into Brooklyn and Staten Island and different areas, and even the city itself. Well, we've also started working with the Hudson Valley Group, and they're trying to grow the game of lacrosse out there. And we're actually going to have the Lizards are going to host a Hudson Valley night for the first time ever.
That's terrific. So the interest being shown there off the turnover here, they'll get it back. And every possession at this point becomes critical with 9:46 to go, trailing by 4 for the John Jay Indians.
Absolutely. When you're down by 4 with just about 9 minutes to go, or under 10 minutes to go, you really have to make sure of your possessions. You got to keep the ball safe. You got to make sure you don't turn it over, as they are under a little bit of pressure right here on the ride.
That's something, again, that a lot of people don't talk about, the Huntington ride. They have such good athletes on the attack on that ride ability.
Well, that's it, Barry. They do have such good athletes, and they really pay attention to where the ball is and cover the men very well and cover their zones very well. They get a lot of transition goals, and you get into a running game with Huntington, which is what they want. That's disastrous.
Up top now to Drew, who's been impressive today. Against Bratton, gets inside and scores. Drew going to the left hand, and that makes it a 9-6 game.
Well, he drives hard to the right, and Bratton plays him to give him the left hand, and he comes back with that left-handed shot, and he takes a nice bounce shot. I liked the fact that it was a bounce shot off the turf. Beats Brady.
Second goal of the game, 25th of the year. 9-6 when we return, 9:07 to go in the fourth quarter. As we get ready for the face-off, 9-6 our score, 9:07 to go here in the fourth quarter, as Mr. Olson, who's dominated face-offs, gets set for another one.
Drew and Stockel have been the most effective offensive forces for John Jay today, and I think it's because they're the fastest of the players on offense for Jay, and their speed is really helping out.
Olson wins it another one. Cantonese playing on the wing came up with that ball. Wings have done a great job too, Karen.
Well, they are very important. People don't realize the importance that the wings can play in coming up with the ground balls. The face-off guy can do a nice job, and he can rake it to the strong side, and those wings have to come in and come up with that loose ball, and they are very important and critical to winning those face-offs that most people overlook. Everyone gives credit to the guy who's doing the face-off, but don't neglect those wings.
If you're Huntington, you want to take good shots, take some time off the clock here, be patient, and not take bad shots. Cantonese goes down, gets back up. Nice feed from Mock, And that one, getting a piece of it, it goes deflected wide.
That reminded me of the goal that he scored when he fell down. And here he is. He gets up and he has the wherewithal to have his vision on looking around the field, and he picks out Mock standing right there on the crease area. It was a good opportunity. Mock just puts it wide.
Now, against Schneidman, tied up. Schneidman, big and strong, ball in the crease area. And finally, the goalie Latino with an outlet here. They need to get something going offensively. And Zach Weil finds an open teammate. Open field for Douglas. Got coffee on him. And now they quickly make changes. Coming out of the field, Mike Santeri. Brady get the save. And that's in. It counts. Mike Santeri, number 30, who had just checked in on the second midfield with a great hustle. It's back to a 2-goal game.
Well, that's really what won it was the hustle, the aggressiveness. He ran. Brady makes a nice save off the shot. Not a hard shot, but he makes a nice save, and he literally runs into Santeri, and the collision dislodges the ball, and it goes into the goal. And Brady, really, I know he's upset at that because he knows he made the save. But hey, it's a goal. It was earned by aggressive play.
The young man going to Western New England with his 14th goal. Olsen and Silver for the faceoff. Olsen pushes it forward. Can't come up with it. Loose ball. Cantonese after it. Catrone after it. They couldn't come up with it. Bratton throws a check. And a flag coming up as Howell comes up with the ball. And let's see who the call is going to be against. It looks like it's a push. And it will be a 30-second call.
Yeah, that looks like it was on one of the Twins, one of the Mells. It is a push, and it looks like a 30-second call, Barry.
So we'll be back with an opportunity for John Jay to try to close within one. They trail 9-7, 7:28 to go here in the fourth quarter. We're back. John Jay 1 for 4 extra man, 7:19 to go. Only a 30-second penalty. A very important possession here as they've cut the 4-goal deficit to 2. Bachlet, will he step up, the big guy, with 101 points coming in. Holding, looking for a good shot here. Number 9 is Stockel. Off now on the near side to Drew, who's been hot. Teams are all even right now. Here's Douglas. 6:50 to go, did not get a shot on that extra man. Douglas from the goal line extended, thought about it. This is Douglas again, takes Coffey behind. Coffey backs up on him. Now Douglas looking, he's got a clear field with how Coffey kind of locked in the goal area. Up top, the dangerous Drew. Got Catrone on him. Drew likes to get inside, beats him. Checked away, good job by Straub on the double that time. Ball loose, and can Bratton get free in the open field? Hacked from behind, whacked away, controls it. Good job by Ramel. He'll take it to the cage, bounces it wide, but they head back up there.
Yeah, nice play. I got to tell you, athletic play makes the play. You thought he was going to lose the ball up there. Comes all the way down the field, but they back it up. Huntington ball. They need to slow the ball down a little bit here and crush this John Jay momentum that just started.
Yeah, I don't know. Ramel made a terrific play in advancing the ball and keeping the ball. He probably would have been better off looking for a pass. Didn't have much of a shot there.
Howe with under 6 minutes to go. Huntington by 2. Howe off to Bratton. Chamel. He's got the big stick of Bolander on him. Inside, roll, feeds in behind a Mock. On the wing, they score! Zach Howell with a huge goal.
Well, you can see it right from here. Zach Howell had a lot of room to shoot on that goal as he had the short stick against him, Tyler Grinelli. And Zach Howell, unaccustomed to having that short stick, said, I'm going to take advantage of that short stick. And the goalie, Latino, was giving up a lot of space on that far pipe. Though it was on the stick side, he gives up a lot of room. Zach Howell places it beautifully.
Yeah, notice the shot, Barry. Picture perfect. No sidearm, straight over the top. Good velocity, well-placed shot.
Zach Howell's 53rd goal. He's got 95 points on the year. And again, Olsen raking it back. Howell going after it. He goes down. Straub with a hit. Still loose ball. Huntington up by 3, 10-7. 5:20 to go, and there's still no possession. Catrone had it. He's level to the field. and bodies flying. Now the officials will make a call here, and it will be in the hands of John Jay.
Yeah, Barry, good job dislodging the ball on behalf of John Jay, and the ball goes over to John Jay.
Will step out, a break in the action. 5:19 to go. Huntington 10, John Jay River 7. Again, our thanks to the great folks in Huntington and Institute 3E. You heard from John Florio at halftime. Does a great job over there with the exercise education and empowerment, representing the 3Es. And Jay Jalbert, one of the players in the Lizards, outstanding star from Cold Spring Harbor High School, one of the guys who does a lot of training there. Also want to thank Steve Mock Associates, Chris Olson, attorney at law, Brady Risk Management, Junior's Pizza, LIRemodel.com, Huntington Village Sports, Christopher's Restaurants, and of course LIPA, the Long Island Railroad, A.G. Edwards, our friend Mike Cordy, you heard from at halftime in Huntington and Garden City. Dr. Frank Segreto, his Elite Sports Medicine and Rehab in Ronkonkoma. Dr. Jack Foley in the Long Island Institute of Professional Studies, and Lantec, building field turf fields all over Long Island. Carrie, Huntington needed that goal big, and Zach Howell, the guy we highlighted, who had been shut out the first time these two clubs played, he's had a goal and 2 assists today.
Well, you know, it's interesting to note that the big guns for both these teams, Zach Howell as well as Bachlet, have really not been scoring as we might have expected early on. And I think there's a tribute to the fact that the defenses have really been playing both these two players very tight, with a lock off on Bachlet and John Jay playing Howell very tight.
The officials conferring here, I don't know what they're talking about. We've got a crew from section 2, 1, 11, and 8, 4 different sections here, and they're checking the stick. If it's an important stick check right here, if it's an illegal stick, it's a 3-minute unreleasable penalty, and for all intents and purposes could be the end of the game. John Jay, by the way, averages 5 goals against. Today, they have given up 10, Kerry, double the number. And we've talked about that this is the most goals they've given up all year.
What happened was John Jay called a stick check on Ramel Bratton, because when after he was double and triple teamed over on that far side of the field, the ball never was dislodged. And I believe during the timeout they called for a stick check to see if the stick was legal, and apparently it is.
That's not the same stick. I have to notice after that play, Ramel came off the field, threw that stick to the side, and got another stick. I don't know if that makes a difference, but that is a different stick.
Paul McDermott, Skip Lucarelli, part of the coaching staff over there, now sending out Teneri, who's going to come onto the field, and he will come on defensively as a defensive midi, as we're just about ready to resume play here. Hope you've enjoyed our great lacrosse coverage throughout the year. Barry Landers along with Kerry Gluck, Art Kaminsky, and really added to our coverage of the interception on the clear. Not a good choice that time. And here is the big guy who scored earlier, Schneidman. Brady the save. And opportunity for Douglas to scoop that ball up. Kerry, he could not. He would have had a good opportunity. And now a flag.
And a flag, I think, is going to be called against Bratton. I think he's going to get called for the 1 minute on the slash, but on Oscarberg. Oh, hey, Bratton, I thought was looking at him like, like me. I didn't do anything. But again, the opportunity as they brought it down with the big stick, and again, Schneidman, who scored earlier, had another good look at the cage, takes the shot, and Brady does a nice job on getting the save. Gets down low, gets it on the short hop, but it rebounds up in the air, and that creates the loose ball, which is where the slash came in.
Both Schneidman and Brady very clearly remembered the earlier shot. Schneidman duplicated his shot, low bounce shot. Brady remembered what he did wrong last time, corrected. He came out the winner this time, so they're 1-1 in that department.
Camden East now playing with a big stick defensively. It's 6-on-5. They're 1 for 5 so far with the extra man, John Jay. And needless to say, this is pivotal here, and they score from the outside. A hidden ball play. Chris Bachlet over there coming up with the goal.
It caught everybody by surprise. A little hidden ball trick, he never had the ball. The ball was off on the wing area, and the defense was following number 22, I believe. Granelli had the ball, and I think it was Stockel or Bachlet was the one who was thinking that everyone thought had the ball. Yeah, and it was given to Granelli, got the goal for John Jay.
Wow. Clear that John Jay came well prepared in this game with their whole bag of tricks. call the stick check on the Brattons in the fourth quarter, do the hidden ball check. Let's see what's next.
Critical face-off win by Olsen. Olsen with the 4 goals early, backs it out. The kid going to tough, showing his IQ there. Now feeds, Mock rifles it wide, but back up by Howe with 4:31 to go. Huntington by 2.
Gotta compliment Olsen. Tough smarts, obviously. Maybe even better. Maybe Ivy League smarts on that one. Certainly a great move, and we don't see enough of it. Resisting this temptation, should bring it back, use the clock.
Off a chest of Cannonese, couldn't control it. They're down by 2. Unsettled situation. Here's Bachlet. Oh, across it'll go. Stockel looking for help. Oh, he thought he had a man down low. He thought he had Bachlet. And now here is Stockel. We're down to 4 minutes to go. John Jay twice is trailed by 4. They've cut it to 2 twice. Here there's an opportunity for Drew. He's in, and Brady comes up with it. Can't get the rebound, and they score. Candia, number 18, coming up with the goal.
That was, again, a great opportunity. They didn't take the fast break opportunity. They looked to settle down, and then we saw Bachlet go to the goal. And I think, again, Brady does a great job. He comes up with a huge save, but the rebound goes right into Jake DeCandia's goal stick. He's the honorable mention all-section player. He plays on the crease area, and they say he's excellent inside with pressure, and he showed it right there, Barry, on the doorstep, puts it away.
You know, Barry gave him Bratton gave him the inside on it, gave him the baseline. A basketball player, not great defense on the initial charge there by by Bachlet.
Nelly gives up the face-off almost there. Didn't want Olsen to get the fast break, and Olsen gets another win on the face-offs here. The lead of Huntington is down to 1. They haven't been in this situation very often at all in this run of 63 in a row. Now this is Shamel Bratton with it. Takes the man behind that Zach Wheel. John Jay storming back. It's a 1-goal game, 3:26 to go. Pass mishandled by Mock. The big guy, Bolander, knocks him down. Mock trying to come up with it. Hit again, and we're going to get a call made. It'll be right in the hands of Huntington. He'll try for a quick restart.
In this 3-year undefeated scheme, the only game comparable to this that Huntington was in was the Sable Suffolk County Championship game 2 years ago, which was decided by 1 goal.
Olsen, who's been hot, shoots it wide, went to the left hand, had a big pole on him, and Huntington now trying to show some patience here. They lead it 10-1. And remember, Huntington does not have a timeout left. John Jay has 1. Will the Brattons step up, Kerry? They've been held to each 1 goal apiece here. The team needs these All-Americans to step up here. Here's Shamel against Bolander. Goes to his right. 2:40 to go. Bolander at 6'4", 220. Shamel rifles it high, not particularly good shot. He's got a cannon, but they do have backup.
Yeah, he was trying to work the defenseman Bolander, and you notice the change of direction as he sweeps to his left. He really comes underhanded again from way outside. Again, I don't like the choice of shots taken by Bratton right at that moment.
Foul against Schneidman. Decides to throw it in behind. Now to Mock. On the wing to Olsen. 2:19 to go. The warning will be in effect in 15 seconds. To the left. And rifling it again wide is Ramel Bratton. They don't have backup this time. Schneidman was back there, and it will be John Jay ball and a chance to tie it.
I was just going to say, I don't like taking, even though these guys have got cannons, you don't take 30-yarders in a situation like this. You work for a very good shot.
Here we go, a chance to tie it. Drew racing on Catrone. Catrone falls. 1:57 to go. Remember, they have a timeout left. Here's Douglas. Will it be Bachlet to step up? Will it be Drew? They've had a couple of unsung heroes in DeCandia. And Grinnell. This is Douglas getting in on Coffee. Catrone did a good job doubling. Douglas throws it over the head. He had a teammate wide open. Drew, it'll roll out of bounds. What a play.
Why it went overhead was because of Sam Catrone. The pole came over and does a nice little check on the gloves as he was ready to make that pass, and that's what caused that pass to go errant.
Make no mistake, Drew was all alone. We all saw it. He gets that pass. We got a tie ball game.
We're down to 1:29 to go. Straub will put the ball in play here. Brian Straub back to the cool, calm Mr. Brady. Now they'll give it to Bratton to try to clear. Ramel up the near sideline. 1:16 to go. Into the box, he'll take it. Got to keep it in the box. They lead by 1. Ramel will take the defender in behind Zach Wheel. 1:05 to go. Here's Ramel. No double yet. Ramel thought about a shot, takes it. Not a smart play. Up they come, a chance to tie it here. On the lead, on the break, John Jay with it. They'll give it up now. Here's Stockel. 45 seconds to go. Joined by DeCandy on the midfield. Here's Stockel against Straub. Feeds in tight, looking for DeCandy. It's broken up. Recovered by Douglas. We're down to 34 seconds to go, and John Jay will take the final timeout with 34 seconds to go. Don't go away. We'll be back in a moment. You're watching exciting high school lacrosse on Telecare. John Jay will put the ball in play here, Kerry, with 34 seconds to go. Remember, they went down by 4 and now down by 1. They've scored 4 goals here in the fourth quarter.
Well, that was right after my comment, Barry, that when John Jay said they got to hold Huntington to 10 goals or less, and if they can, they feel they can win this game. And since that time, they have shut out John Jay, which is what I said they had to do if they were going to get themselves back in this game, and they've done an excellent job containing the Blue Devils. And, the Huntington on their last series really were not using their lacrosse IQ to let Bratton take a shot when they're up by 1 with a minute to go.
Brady has had 10 saves. He may have to make the biggest save of the season right here. Well, looks like they're setting up. Askerberg will play Bachlet. We'll keep an eye on that matchup. Catrone will defend the ball. It's Drew, who's got great speed. Catrone. Here's Drew getting in. He scores! He scores to tie it at 10.
I think that was a set play. I think that's exactly what they wanted to do. Isolate Drew. We've been saying all game he's got the speed. He showed it. He also has the ability to shoot with either hand and pick out just a teeny little bit in the corner. He got it just inside the pipe. It was a terrific play. I got to give enormous kudos to the coaching staff at John Jay. They have been brilliant in the second half and in this fourth quarter.
I'll tell you, if you're watching Drew and you're trying to scout him, you actually say he carries the ball a little strange. The way he cradles the ball, you think you can take it off him. He has just been a stud out here.
The long pole, Ryan Bolander taking the face-off against Olsen here. The All-American against Olsen. Olsen comes up with the ball. 20 seconds to go. No timeouts left. Back out to Howe. 15 seconds to go. We're tied at 10. Howe with 10 seconds to go. Time running down. Howe with 8, with 7, with 6, with 5. Howe with 4. Cut off. Throws it across the cage. Oh, and Mock is denied as time runs out.
There can't be a bigger save for this Chris Latino. That's got to be the biggest save, not of his career, but his lacrosse life. And Mock had the great opportunity, and Howell does a wonderful job in being able to look and make that cross cage feed and to pick out Mock in traffic.
Bobby Cressett, the defender, was the man who actually made the save.
Man going into D3 Endicott. I told you he's a heck of a defenseman, belongs in that elite grouping. But what a play by Howell. We said he was a quarterback before the game. He had the clock in his head. He put it down to 2 seconds and made an amazing, impossible cross cage pass right on the money.
We go to overtime, tied at 10. We'll be back with just a moment. Well, this game was 9-5, believe it or not, and then John Jay started the run. Drew got a goal to make it 9-6 early in the fourth quarter. Then they added another goal to make it a 9-7 game. Huntington came back to make it 10-7. 3 unanswered goals have made it 10-10. Olsen will try to come up with this ball, and he does, and a timeout taken by Huntington.
I was about to say to you, what does John Jay have on that side right now? Momentum, but the problem is they don't have Olsen facing off. Olsen kills momentum, wins another face-off.
3 goals to tie this game came Tyler Granelli, an unbelievably unusual goal. We'll talk about that for years, I'm sure. Then they got another goal by Jake Candia. That came at 8:08. And then the tying goal as John Drew came up with another goal to tie it at 10-10 with 11:34 the time on the clock, just 26 seconds.
I mean, in the 63-game win streak, I think you'd have to go a long way back to find a time when Huntington has given up 4 or 5 goals and gone scoreless in that run, Barry. They really have just not played all that intelligently in the last 5 minutes.
All right, let's talk about Alan Hodish. We watch that huddle right now. They've got so many weapons. What are they talking about?
Well, I hope they're talking about get the ball to Zach Howell. He's the quarterback. He needs to have the ball. He will find people. He will make good decisions, and he will set up his teammates. I really think that the ball has to go through Zach Howell for Huntington to have an opportunity to win here.
I agree with everything. All smart comments by my colleagues. Dave particularly on point about the face-offs. What this is reminiscent of was the comeback Cold Spring Harbor made against Manhasset a week ago in the Nassau County Championship Class C game. Kind of strange goals. Were totally out of the game for 3 quarters, then dominated the 4th quarter, and they wound up winning.
Ramel Bratton will bring it down. He made the mistake earlier of taking a shot when he shouldn't have, when they had possession. The hot hand to Olsen. He'll way wide, rifled it with a left hand, but Howell this time was backing up.
I'd rather not see anybody take shots from outside. I'd rather see them, they've got enough talent to control the ball well enough, work the ball around, hit a cutter, hit a man in close, make it a very good, smart goal.
Howell against Schneidman. Howell coming around. Where's the ball? It's loose. He still has it. Feeds it down low. Mock shoots. Save made by Latino. Scramble for the ball. A push. And it's going to go over to John Jay. So John Jay will get the ball in the overtime, tied at 10.
Well, I'll tell you, I really have a question about that call because I really felt that Steve Mock does a nice job on pushing down on the defenseman's stick as opposed to pushing him in the back.
Bobby Crossett, who made the save, the defender, number 44, off to the near side to Schneidman. Schneidman will look to clear here. Mock riding in. The pass goes to Candia, and a timeout taken here by John Jay. Will step out as well. 3 minutes to go, 1 minute's gone in the overtime. Huntington's 63-game winning streak on the line right here. And they've led by 4, but now tied at 10. We'll be right back. Nick Savastano's club beaten by West Islip last year in the Class A semifinal, 13-1. 2 years ago, beaten by Huntington in the Class B final, 14-2. Now with a chance to make history here at Hofstra.
Who will he put on Drew? That's the question. He's the big gun. He's had a great second half. He's got all the speed. I'd go with Ramel Bratton.
We'll see what happens here. It'll be John Jay ball, and it will be 15 Kevin Drew putting the ball in play, and Ramel Bratton will play him. Here is Drew. Drew to his left. Almost had the step on him. Backs it out. One-on-one situation, they isolate here. Everybody standing around looking. Drew takes it to the far side. This is a one-on-one situation. Here is Drew. Up top now, Stockel. Stockel working on Catrone. Back outside with 2:20 to go in overtime. Tied at 10. The winner to advance to the state championship game. Drew against Bratton with a short stick. 2:08 to go. Everybody standing. Here is Drew. Drew getting in tight. Checked by Bratton. Loose ball picked up by Catrone. He'll try to get it to Cantonese, in trouble, into a double. Straub will just cheap clear it all the way down the field, and that ball will go out of bounds. And it's a lot of contact on the far side, but no call.
Yeah, Bratton did a real nice job defensively. What he's got going for him, in addition to being a good defensive player naturally, he's got speed and he's strong. So he's going to be able to keep the man away, and Drew's a pretty big kid too, so he can match up really well with him.
All right, they look for the clear here. Bolander, far side. Now back to Latino. Got to get it up soon. Off to the big guy, Schneidman. He has trouble with the ball. He recovers it. A check of Maki couldn't take it away. Here's Schneidman again. He thought about it with 1:22 to go. Remember, he got a goal earlier. Here's Bachlet. Quiet. Bachlet with it. Now checking. It's behind the big guy, still with it. Schneidman. He's got Cantonese, the short stick on him. He's coming around. Gets the shot off the save by Brady. 1:04 to go. It's loose. Coffee whacking away. Still loose. Still loose. Goosed in the air high. Can Bratton get to it? Can Bratton get to it? No, it's right into the stick of Bachlet, or across it. Now, nobody down. It's still loose. Still loose. Coffee will finally pick it up. Finds a teammate. Here is Shamel Bratton. 40 seconds to go. Delayed call coming up on John J. River. Shamel wheeling and dealing. Fires it wide. Do they have backup? Yes, it doesn't matter because it would have been an extra man situation called anyway. Oh my, 33 seconds to go. And an extra man opportunity coming up for Huntington.
Well, sit back and get a breath here, folks, as we've been going up and down here. The penalty is going to be a cross-check penalty against John Jay. 1 minute. That'll carry the extra man towards the end of this overtime period. But the one thing I don't think that John Jay wanted to do was to go man down in this overtime with the score tied.
Huntington 1 for 5. 30 seconds to go here in this first overtime. Should they not score, they want to hold on to the ball and have it for the second overtime. Here's Howe up top. Bratton turning, shooting, hits the pipe. Shamel Bratton hit the pipe. Cantonese closest to the ball. They'll still get it with 18 ticks of the clock left. So here is Cantonese putting it in play. It almost ended on the stick of Shamel Bratton there. Down now to 15. Oh, a dangerous play. Now Cantonese with 9. To Ramel. Ramel with 5. Off on the wing. Here's Shamel with 3, 2, 1, and they will hold it for the second overtime. We will be back. Second overtime coming. We're tied at 10 on the high school championship game. Well, in winning streaks, you get tested. And no more of a test, Alan Hodish, than facing Huntington right now, but they will have possession as we begin the second overtime in a 10-10 ball game.
Well, smart play, Barry, to hold the ball. They get possession, and that is key. They don't have to face the ball up. They start man up. Again, you talk about a golden opportunity, that old cliche. Well, hey, this is it.
Shamel Bratton had 5 goals against John Jay in the 9-6 win. He's been held to 1. Ramel Bratton had 1 against John Jay. He's been held to 1. So they've done a great job stopping them, and they've made some mistakes, but they will get the ball. And now facing the other end of the field, the sun could be a factor at this time of the day. Looking into that sun, and Huntington's got the ball for about 27 seconds. Man up. John Jay goalie has made 6 saves. Huntington goalie Brady has made 12. The look in behind, now to Mock, back to Howe. Howe cut off, looking. Up top, it's deflected away. Time running down to the extra man. It should be over, and it is all even. Up now, top Cantonese. Here is Bratton. Shamel sweeps to his left, takes the shot, the save made. Who's going to be closest to the ball? Schneidman closest to the ball. John Jay will get it.
You know, the John Jay goalie, he's made an adjustment in his game recently. He's challenging the shooters more. He's coming out. He's cutting down the angles. He's getting to the ball before it gets to him and hog ties him. It's made a difference. It certainly did on that last shot by Shamel Bratton.
Schneidman that's probably his 3rd or 4th play where he has actually backed up the ball and gotten a turnover by backing up the ball. Great play by Schneidman.
So it will be John Jay with a chance to win it here early in the second overtime. They have to clear here. Waiting for the resumption of play, Tyler Grinelli will put the ball in play, far side of the field. In case you're just tuning in, John Jay was down 9-5. They rallied to tie it at 10 in the closing minute of the regulation. And now they'll bring it down with the big stick of Bobby Crossett. Off to Kevin Stockel. Stockel picked up by Straub. And a timeout call by John Jay.
Now, John Jay has been in the depths of overtime this year. Big game against Manhasset, a team they had never beaten. They went to triple overtime to beat them, so they've endured the delicious pressure of this kind of game.
They also lost in overtime to Garden City, so they've had the bitter taste and the sweet taste of overtime. It'll be either bitter or sweet when this one ends today. We'll be back once again, 3:09 to go. Second overtime. We're tied at 10. Well, John Jay has put a remarkable comeback together here. They're going to have the ball again. What do you look for from them? Are they going to try to isolate Kevin Drew again?
I think if you are, you're going to look to Drew. Stockel's also another one that you're going to look to. But if you're the defense right here, you got to feel pretty comfortable. You got one of the best goalies in the country in the cage right now. You have one of the best close unit defenses. It doesn't get any better than this.
First overtime, Huntington outshot John Jay 5-0. Now you'd say, ooh, that portends well for Huntington. But again, harkening back to the Manhasset game, Manhasset outshot John Jay something like 8 or 9-2 in the triple overtime. John Jay won the game.
Only takes one. Brian Douglas will put it in play against Coffey. Pat Coffey defending John Jay's number 2, Brian Douglas. Just about a minute gone in the second overtime. He'll isolate up top. Coffey, the junior. Douglas, the senior All-American. Down low, they feed. The shot by Stockel. And here is Bratton with it. Ramel Bratton will try to bring it up. Eludes a couple of people. And now Huntington will call the timeout.
Smart call, get the timeout, set up your offense. Don't take a chance of losing the ball in midfield on the clear. Good job on the defensive side, too, for Huntington. They did a very nice job in defending against Douglas, and then they looked to get the ball down low. But give credit to the defense from Huntington. They stepped up. You've got great matchups. You've got great defensive players against offensive players for John Jay that are all 3 All-American players. So this is the way it's supposed to be written.
This one as good as advertised.
I suspected something was up when Douglas took the ball up top and that far out. He doesn't have that much speed. He's better off manipulating from the X or at least on the wing. So I thought when he was out there, he's looking to set someone up closer to the cage. That's exactly the play they called. They executed it very well.
Dave, take us inside that Huntington huddle.
Well, they got to still clear the ball. They got it right around the 34-yard line right now, so they got to move the ball here. They're saying, hey, let's get the ball. We have plenty of time here, 2:48 left. Take our time. We got the best offense in the country. Let's show them.
All right, here we go. Huntington will have the ball here, and once again, Ramel Bratton will be the man trying to clear. They'll triple team him as he'll try to get it across midfield. They've got other players open, far side Coffey, Straub, Askeberg, up around the 50-yard line, far side. But looking into the sun, and Straub also in the sun. Brady will swing it now to Straub. Off now to Askeberg. Askeberg looking for help. They got to get it across soon. Here is Straub, and Straub can't find anybody open. It's knocked away, goosed around, loose ball, still loose, and we get a whistle and a failure to advance against Huntington.
Got to ask why, when Askeberg had the pass, he moved it back into defensive territory rather than advancing it to all those great offensive players.
Here we go with 2:28 to go. The second overtime, tied at 10. Mistakes come at critical times. And now John Jay with another opportunity here to win it. Douglas. Stockel out there. And they'll isolate up top. Here is number 2, Douglas shooting it wide. Brady and Bratton hustling to try to get back along with Drew. But it'll still be John Jay ball. And a quick shot taken there. Now Drew putting it in on play against Bratton. Here is number 2 with it. Douglas check, ball loose, far side. Who's going to come up with it? Candia's got it. Candia, almost had a man in front. Now Candia against Catrone. Candia, who had a big goal earlier in this game to help bring him back from a 4-goal deficit in the fourth quarter. Up top now to Douglas against Coffey. Neither team with a timeout. 1:34 to go. In overtime, number 2. Douglas falls all over him there. The defender scrambled for the ball. Askeberg after it. And a push going to be called against Huntington. And John Jay retains possession with 1:21 to go. Kevin Drew once again picked up by Ramel Bratton. Folks standing all over Hofstra. Bachlet, who's been very quiet. Now he's got Askeberg on him. This is a dangerous matchup. Bachlet, the All-American. Wheeling, coming around. Gets the shot partially blocked. Goes to the far side. Still backed up. And it'll still be John Jay ball. That time Bachlet. Good job by Askeberg, the defender there.
Askeberg did a very nice job coming down on the gloves of Bachlet as he was shooting that ball, which is why that ball went high.
Once again, they'll put it in play. Down to 48 seconds to go. Stockel. Cantonese picking him up. Stockel shoots. Brady gets a piece of it as they hustle to the end line. No, they do not give it to Huntington. Upset with that call was Ramel Bratton. He thought he had beaten Candia there. Up now to Douglas. 35 seconds to go as they put the ball in play. Douglas against Coffey. Isolating now. Douglas up on the wing to Tyler Grinelli. 18 seconds to go. Stockel giving it up now. They're playing give and go. Grinelli off to Douglas. Douglas will take the shot and he scores. Brian Douglas gives John Jay an 11-10 victory, snapping Huntington's 63-game winning streak. And John Jay has made history here. Huntington's bid for a 3rd straight championship ends in overtime.
The only thing you can say is what a great game, Barry. You had the number 1 team in the country against the number 6 team in the country, and this is what it's all about. This is high school lacrosse at its finest with the 2 best teams. As you look at the players for Huntington, and you're looking at number 1, Shamel Bratton, in the middle of the field, and then you look at Brady on the field. Huntington obviously in shock at what happened today, but give credit to John Jay. This was an excellently played second half by John Jay.
A remarkable comeback capped by the goal in overtime with 9 seconds left.
Shocking, Barry, is the only way to describe it. Give John Jay all the credit in the world. Huntington's going to look back on this game. They certainly had the opportunities to put the game away in regulation. They had the ball. A couple of ill-advised shots. They could have sat on it and run the clock out with their personnel. They failed to do that, and they pay for it dearly.
They led 10-7 with about 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, but they had goals scored by Grinelli, by Candia, a couple of the lesser guys, and then, of course, number 15 finally tied it, Kevin Drew, and they win it in overtime, the second overtime, on a goal by Brian Douglas.